you questioning?
Oh, you were shaking your head. I was wondering why you were so downtrodden.
Oh, just yeah, it's just annoying. Life is annoying. All right, how you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing well, Doobie. How about you?
All right, I wish I had gotten this email just a couple of seconds earlier, and I could have dealt with it before I went on the air. Hey, everybody, welcome to our morning LPTV Disney News update, coming to you live from beautiful parts of the United States. My name is Doobie Mosley, co-founder of Laughing Place. Man to my left is Kyle Burbank, the managing editor of Laughing Place. How you doing this morning, Kyle?
I am still doing well, Doobie.
How you doing, Steven Singleton from Wyoming? Nice to see you. We come here every morning, usually right about this time, sometimes a little earlier if there's some breaking news, and just bring you up to date on what's been going on the past 24 hours or so in the world of Disney and what to look forward to today. That's what we do here on the LPTV Disney News Show. You can check us out here, right here on YouTube, how you might be watching us directly, or you can check us out on LPTV, where we broadcast Disney News 24 hours a day and simulcast all our live shows. So hopefully, if you're watching us over there on LPTV, give us a big hello, and would love to. Now I'm checking out LPTV myself and seeing there is a slight issue. So let me do something real quick over there. Sorry for the delay, folks. Kyle, we're going to start today like we start each day, and that is with a look at the Disney stock price. The stock price right now is on the S&P is up about 1.5%.
Strong jobs report this morning.
People are working. That's good. So, given that, Kyle, what is your prediction for how the Disney stock is doing this morning?
I think Disney is also up.
Right about the same?
Maybe outpacing, because it seems to do that.
Let's check it out. Disney stock is up, outpacing, because it seems to do that. Way to go, Kyle. It is at 93.98, up 2.24% today. Is 100 going to be attained by the end of this week, Kyle?
By the end of the week, no. Well, it's Friday, so and no, the end of next week. I mean, I guess it's possible, but who knows? And
here's the big question. None of it really matters. What really matters is February 8th when they release the quarterly earnings. Will it be reached that day?
Well, so here's the thing. I think it's possible, but 100 now becomes even if it's not like a hard barrier, it's a psychological one. So even when it gets to 100, it could then quickly dip back below it and have that 100 could prove to be a resistance point, because if that's what a lot of traders are locking in their sell price at. So that's kind of the issue it faces now, I think.
So if you're a trader locking in a sell or a buy or whatever 100, knowing everyone else is, wouldn't you really lock it in at like 99.98 or 101? I mean, I use the round number. That seems silly.
I don't know.
Well, one thing I've learned working with Benji, our CEO, who knows Disney finances very well, is investors, when it comes, maybe on the whole they're good, but when it comes to looking at one individual company, they're not necessarily the smartest people in the world.
No.
They believe it or not, the investors may not know as much about Disney as a hardcore Disney fan, especially one who is also interested in the finances. So, all right. What else is going on today? As we mentioned, Disney says they're going to have. They really are. This isn't just a claim. They really are going to release their quarterly earnings on February 8th. And more importantly, why is this a big one? A big quarterly earnings release in webcast, Kyle?
Well, this is presuming that he's there. There's no rule that says he has to be there, but this will be Bob Iger's return to these earning calls that he loves ever so much. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully he's not right. I hope he's practicing, because we were always talking about how much better he was at these than Chapek. So hopefully that remains true and he's able to kick the rust off.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, considering the circumstance of him returning after all this, and this is his first chance to really talk to investors, it would be shocking if he didn't speak to them, considering the CEO normally does, right?
Yeah. I don't think there's any indication that he won't. We were just saying yesterday that, well, technically, they didn't say he would.
Right, but I think we can expect he will. All right, also going on this weekend, the Walt Disney World Marathon. So yesterday they had the 5K, today they had the 10K, and next tomorrow they have the half marathon, and Sunday they have the full marathon. And this is the big main Walt Disney World Marathon, the one that started at all the Disneyland of Run Disney events. And so a lot of people did the 10K this morning. I'm just going to show some tweets that I thought were pretty fun. Give me a second to get these set up for you. In the meantime, Kyle, you can vamp. Yeah, you can talk about Run Disney because you've done some of these things.
I have, yeah. So I've done half marathons. I've done 5 of them, I think. But these days, I like the 10K. It's still a little bit of a challenge, but I don't feel completely exhausted afterwards. So that's my sweet spot these days. But I've done these challenges. Becca has done ones where we do the 5, the 10, and the half. And never done a full marathon. I've never finished running 13 miles and been like, oh yeah, I want to do that again. So I don't think I'll ever get there. I don't think she has any aspirations of that either. And
I don't have to get that. So unfortunately, I don't know what it is.
But yeah, they're fun. You have to get up super. The hardest part of doing the challenges is getting up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning for 3 days in a row. And then
you don't just, I was say, even if the race is say at 6 a.m., you don't just roll out of bed and show up at the race.
No, you have to get there early and wait in the corral. And yeah, it's a whole thing. And sometimes they'll have you park at one. So for the most recent ones that we did, you'd park at Epcot because that's where the race ended. And then you'd take the monorail over to the TTC and start the race from there.
Well, I'm going to share some tweets from 10K this morning that I ran across. This is the actual, wonder what it looks like when a race starts. First of all, it's pitch dark. And here you go, little fireworks. That might be a little more elaborate on the actual marathon.
Well, here's the thing. No, it's really not that much more elaborate because that's one start of about a few dozen that they do because they also switched it. So it used to be they'd mostly launch an entire corral at one time. So you might only have like a half a dozen, but now they're doing many more waves of people. So yeah, you will have however a chunk of people go and then they'll wait a minute or two and then launch another wave. And they seem to have the fireworks every time. So that is one of many.
Oh, well, I mean, that's nice. If you're in corral number 23, like I am on those 5Ks I've done, you still get a burst of excitement. So they take pictures during the race. The lesson, this says Dopey Bestastic goes 48.6. This is the
I recognize
all
that
4 races. Do you really?
Yeah. I think I've probably followed him in the past. But yes, I recognize him.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So here, tweeted out some of his pictures. They do take pictures of you throughout the race so you can see them, which is nice. These are done in conjunction with Track Shack, which I used to live in Florida, and I used to do a bunch of 5Ks and just neighborhood 5Ks. So I'm very familiar with Track Shack.
Do they still do that? Because I thought they switched to just PhotoPass a while back.
You know, I don't know if Track Shack does the photos. I did see a tweet about from Track Shack saying they're involved, but you could be right. They may not do the photos anymore. I could be very off on that.
Well, they might still do it.
I trust you more than I trust you. Well, that seems pretty tech for Disney. I'm not sure that's realistic. Here is this is the proper way to. Is it when you finish a race, Kyle? Do you pose?
We don't really pose. Sometimes we'll do like as we cross the finish line, if we'll put our arms in the air, kind of like. Not quite as silly as that, but yeah, we've been known to do that.
One of the fun parts of Disney marathons in particular are the costumes that people wear. So these appear to be a few fairies that came out for the day. I saw another one. Where's it at?
So because with our corral placement, one of my goals is to always get to a certain place while it's still dark, because these races, you're in the dead of night, and then by the time you finish, a lot of the times it's super bright. So sometimes I'm like,
Right.
well, I hope that I can get to this. Like in this case, I'd want to get back to Spaceship Earth while the lights are still visible on it. So.
And then characters are a huge part of the Run Disney races. So this is Chip and Dale. This is from the movie, right?
Sure, kind of. It's from Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, so which is the movie?
I'll tell you, I've never actually stopped to.
Is that a big deal for you?
Well, I've never stopped to do a meet and greet for the characters. We usually, if we're covering it for Laughing Place, we will run by, we'll snap a picture of the characters, but we are not like hardcore about trying to hit a certain time, but we do have our own little goals. So waiting in line to take a photos with the characters has never really been a priority for us, but I do enjoy seeing them. And they have microphones, so you can hear them talking, or just see some they'll have in places where they're not meet and greets. They're just kind of cheering you on, and that's always a lot of fun.
So like Hercules will be there cheering you on, like go the distance and all that.
Well, most of the time, like characters like that where it's a meet and greet, you can hear they might be saying you hear the conversations with the people that are coming up to them. But in the event that no one is there to see them, then they might be doing that. But there are other characters that are not meet and greets that are there to kind of talk you up and stuff. And like there's marching bands and cheer squads and all sorts of entertainment along the way.
And then, as someone pointed out here, how cool that with Avatar: The Way of Water release, they actually have Spider along the marathon route this morning, along with I believe that's one of the gorillas from Tarzan. But that's a joke. Of course, this is Tarzan, but it does look a lot like Spider from Avatar: The Way of Water. So, and then once you're finished with the marathon, what else are you going to do but grab some grub? This is not what I picture someone eating after who was capable of doing a marathon, but maybe this is just a 10K meal.
That's a 10K,
yeah. Whispering Canyon. And
so our usual post-race thing is we'll eat some of the things. They give you like a little snack box and a banana and a Powerade and some water. So there's usually like some tortilla chips and maybe like some other like little snacks in there. So I'll eat that, and then we'll go back to our hotel, and then we will take a nap, and then we will wake up and eat.
So that is the Run Disney events going on this morning, or it's already taken place this morning. And the half marathon will be tomorrow's the half, Sunday's the full. If you're at Walt Disney World, check the traffic, because there are often some road changes around during the race times, and don't think of the race times as being 2 hours like the Olympic winter. These races take 5-6 hours for the people at the back of the pack, and they're going to keep it open for all of them as long as they keep.
Sometimes it impacts pedestrian traffic as well. I do think it's interesting the way that they do it. Have you ever seen where they have like the split? So they'll have the runners all go towards one way, and they'll have people cross to like a median, and then switch it back to the other way so that the people can finish their cross.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people like us have marathons, and not marathons, but have runs of some sort or another in their neighborhoods, and you deal with it. And same thing on property, except you're trying to get to Disney World because you paid your $3,000 for this once in a lifetime trip, and you are being stopped because Tubi is trying to keep up the 16-minute pace on his half marathon for the first time. I'm not speaking about personal experience or anything. All right, what else is going on? We talked about the earnings call. Kyle, as someone who's actually been to Hong Kong Disneyland, perhaps you can give an update on what's going on there with World of Frozen.
Yeah, so the managing director of Hong Kong Disneyland shared some construction photos in their Frozen area that's, I think, supposed to open like late this year. The last thing we knew, they did a topping off ceremony, which is their highest point, and now, you can see that the whole village of Arendelle is kind of starting to come together. You see the buildings there. Reminds me a little bit of Harry Potter and Hogsmeade, just a little bit. But yeah, so that's making its way. Seems to totally fit like the Fantasyland aesthetic there, or at least the new Fantasyland aesthetic, I guess I should say. Not
Yeah. And when is this scheduled to open in Hong Kong Disneyland?
I believe it's supposed to be late this year.
Yeah, late. See, I almost said no, late 2023, but this is 2023. So you can check these photos out, get a closer look on Laughing Place if you'd like to. It's always fun when the walls, well, they're not down, but when you're able to go behind the walls and see how the concept art is turning into the real thing, which is what's going on now at Disneyland, at Hong Kong Disneyland. I wanted to take a moment. I know we did this a couple times yesterday, but I want to do it just one more time because it's so good. So yesterday we talked extensively about World of Color 1, which is coming up just January 27th. It is like 21 days away at Disney California Adventure. They released some really cool footage yesterday, and I just wanted to show that footage yet one more time.
One.
It just takes one.
See the ripples, watch them turn to waves. You never know who it might touch, and soon it might be all of us. Maybe there's a world that it can change. So start away. Oh, maybe there's a world that you can change. So start away.
And again, Kyle, fan of that song?
Big fan of that song. I'm very excited to download it, put it next to Un Monde qui s'illumine from Disneyland Paris, which was Becca's most listened to song on Spotify last year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really cool. I wish I don't think YouTube. I use YouTube. I might be the only person in the world that uses YouTube Music as my streaming music service. But I don't know if they have that feature. They didn't do a good job of letting me know. I'm trying to think, what would my probably something from Hamilton. Even still, probably still something from Hamilton. Yeah. I get away from it for a couple of months, but then once I go back, I still stick to it and listen to it a lot before I veer off again. So a surprise I learned on the Twitters this morning. And we haven't gotten one of our people out there yet, but the Soul of Jazz and American Adventure exhibit, American Adventure had been closed for quite a while and reopened late last December, like 2 weeks ago. But the Soul exhibit was still there, but apparently this morning it is gone. So here's a look at what it was like when it was there. But according to the Twittervilles, it is now gone at
well, this one's the downtown Disney
at Epcot. So hopefully you got a chance to see it. Oh man, you're right. I'm just terrible. So thank you for pointing that out.
But
there was a similar
other
exhibit. There was
locations as well. It started at American Adventure, and then I think it's been at a few different museums, or at least a version of it has been at some different museums around the country.
Right. Yeah, because the American Adventure one has still been there up until this morning. So no word yet on what's going to be going in its place. That's always a rotating exhibit. It hasn't been the Soul of Jazz for the past 40 years. And we'll see what rotates in there next. What else is going on this morning? So, Kyle, I know you are, of the two of us, the fashionista. And I thought normally we don't cover a whole lot of merchandise on the show unless we have Becca on here to specifically talk about it. But I saw these, and this seemed like something Disney fans were going to be way excited about. So, as a '90s kid, are you excited?
Yeah, I think I like these designs. The first one, the Goof Troop one, reminds me of the Charlotte Hornets a little bit, and also I think my elementary school's colors were that pink, that purple and teal. It's a very '90s design, but I think the Beauty and the Beast one is also, that one feels a little kiddie to me, I think.
So wait, this one feels more adult?
I mean,
this one's more kiddie.
Comparatively. Like I could see the irony in wearing the one on the left, but the one on the right, I'm just like, are those overalls or is that a jumper, or what is that? The other thing you just showed.
Yeah, no, I believe these are overalls, which I've been thinking.
I don't know if they count as overalls if they're shorts. I don't know how that works. I honestly don't know. Because they're not overall, because they're not over your.
Okay, All right, so that now went to semantics, but what they are shorts that attach and come over your shoulders, whatever term you want to use for them, and they feature Toy Story characters. We've got Bo Peep, Buzz, Woody, and Rex up here, and then an alien on each of your shorts. I could see Becca wearing this. How about you?
Yeah, probably, but also no. And that's the original Bo Peep. So this is older Toy Story.
That's a good point. Astute. And then this is the kitty shirt that kitty design Kyle previously mentioned.
That's
So
the
I am not a
Muggsy
huge
Bogues Charlotte
fan.
Hornets jacket.
So I went to Target. I had some time to kill. There was no traffic when I left work, and I had to go to the gym. Had some time to kill. So let's go to Target and just walk around. Went to the sweatshirt section, grabbed a random 2XL, put it on, fit perfectly. I did a little dance in Target all by myself, and now I'm thinking I could buy this. They probably have this in my size, and I can walk around in this. And I'm pretty
So you can chop off the rack now?
As long as the rack has a 2X, yes. It's a big deal for me. That's
No,
a
it
big
is
deal.
because I mean I don't encounter a lot of sizes larger than that at stores. So no, that's awesome.
Right. Yeah. Hercules here with Herc and Pegasus on the pocket. So again, it's Lion King. I like the design, but Lion King.
It's no Roosevelt's.
That's true. If you're going to buy a Hawaiian style shirt, you're going to do a Roosevelt. So don't bother with it. But for the rest of it, her universe is great. And by the way, Ashley, if you happen to be out there, we love you. We'd love to have you on the show sometime. And you are far better than Roosevelt. Unless Roosevelt is watching, in which case we love you guys. We love to have you show sometime. And so we will kiss up to anybody. Speaking of her universe, try that again. Speaking of universe, Epic Universe has in Walt Disney World, the one, Walt Disney World, that's terrible, in Central Florida, Universal's Epic Universe. They're under construction. They're still a way from open, but Bio-Reconstruct, which somehow gets the most awesome aerial pictures, not Little Mermaid version, but up in the air. Have pulled some really cool pictures from construction going on there. So here's a look at some of the track for a high-speed dual racing coaster in Universal's Epic Universe. So I don't know if we know exactly what this traction is going to be, but you can see how they build a intertwining dual track coaster, and I think that's pretty cool. So I just wanted to share that picture there.
Remember when Universal
I
already
scoured
had a dual
Disney
coaster?
Twitter. What was that called? Dueling Dragons, but then what did they rename it for Potterville?
I forget.
Do you remember?
I don't remember if Dueling Dragons was the Potter one or the previous
me
one.
too. Dueling Dragons was the original. All right, now
I should have gone with Double Dragon.
do some live investigative research.
Dragon Challenge?
Live investigative Dragon Challenge. Yes, Dragon Challenge. So it was Dueling Dragons, and then they changed it to Dragon Challenge. And then they got rid of it and replaced it with Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. Another attraction I'm looking forward to riding now that I suspect I can. So every year, Theme Park Insider, the website, does their extremely prestigious awards for theme park achievement. And those awards have just came out this year. And so I just wanted to go through some of them. Orlando Sentinel had this article, and Cosmic Rewind got some awards. Halloween Horror Night, Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, it's the most prestigious horror event. Star Wars Ride the Resistance got Best Attraction. Animal Kingdom Lodge, Best Hotel Theme Park. Bob Weiss got Insider of the Year. But the one that really surprised me, and I think surprised theme park fans all around the world, Kyle, I don't know if you're ready for this shot. Are you sitting down?
Yes.
I can see you. I probably don't need to ask that question. So Mythos Restaurant at Universal's Islands of Adventure. You can see by this sign, #1 theme park restaurant in the world, 6 years in a row. They get from Theme Park Insider, they get this award year after year. They used to have the years up here, and it just got to be so many that they just replaced it with this sign. This year, the best theme park restaurant went to Disneyland's Blue Bayou.
What?
And as I said, the reverberations of this, the shock is being heard from one coast to the other, as Mythos is wondering how they can get their title back. Do they have to take the sign down? Do they have to send it over to you?
They already
to
did take the sign down.
Disneyland. Probably so. I think that's an old thing. I
know exactly what you're talking about. I was going to ask you about Mythos. I was making sure that it was Theme Park Insider while you were talking, and then I come back and I'm like, oh no, he's talking about Mythos. And I always wondered, like, talking to my friends, like, Mythos is a perfectly fine restaurant, some like nice theming. The food is okay. So if you're grading on a rubric for like theme and food, like, I could see how it becomes the best. But you're like, clearly, if you're like looking for better food or better theming, there are ways to go either option. So it was kind of like the consensus.
So you have eaten at Mythos.
I have eaten at Mythos, yeah. And when there was a panini and I asked if I could remove a couple of things, they're like, "Oh, they're pre-made." I'm like, "Well, I don't know if the best theme park food in the world or best theme park restaurant in all the world makes it so that a pre-made panini I can't remove the vegetables from." But
did you say, "Can I see the chef?" and walk him out front and show him the sign and say, "I do not think your paninis are pre-made. That's not how you get a sign like this."
But like, at least the question, like, what did Blue Bayou do differently this year, or what did Mythos not do? Like, it's not like one of them is new.
So here's a dirty little secret of Theme Park Insider Awards. They're voted on by Theme Park Insider readers, so it's just a matter of which readers vote that particular year. And they're not quite as prestigious.
That's what was holding it back.
That's the key. See, and Mythos always has, and you couldn't have a proper meal without alcohol. Just ask Mac. And speaking of Mac, apparently Dueling Dragons, the Universal Epic Adventure coaster is a Mac Rise dueling coaster. There's some recreations. Do we know what the theme of it is, Luke? Is it Epic Adventure? I think covers every IP ever created. So do we know what the theme of this particular attraction is going to be, or is rumored to be, or might be, or anything? Love to know, Mac, if you do. If you don't, make something up, because we're not that smart. So I ran across this morning as well. Star Wars Intergalactic is not what it's called. Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. The $6,000 hotel for only 2 nights at Walt Disney World, but it's much more than that. Yeah, that is a proper head shake, Kyle. Explain your head shake there for people who call it a $6,000 2-night hotel.
Well, it kind of is, but also the price varies. It's not just a hotel. Like, I know people just call it the Star Wars Hotel, but it is an experience, and whether or not you enjoy that experience is one thing, but it's not just a hotel, and it is an all-inclusive. I should mention that's part of it. Not that the food you get magically makes it worth $6,000, but you get food, you get theme park ticket with it, and then you get this whole unique experience as well. So yes, it's very expensive. I'm not going to say that it's not, but it is not just the same thing. $3,000 a night at a hotel, which you can do on Disney property. If you go to, I think, Four Seasons, gets up there quite easily.
Yeah, that is a great point, that you actually can do that if you want. So Sage Starkey plays he plays more than one character, but I think most people who've watched a lot of videos about this most know him as playing Sammy, one of the crucial characters on board the Galactic Star Cruiser. And Sage Starkey is one of the main people who has played him since it opened. Kyle, you've been on the Star Cruiser. You did not get Sage Starkey? Not your Sammy?
That is not my Sammy. # not my Sammy. But yeah, I trust that most people do know him. It's interesting watching Antiquities. There were some characters that I was familiar with, and other ones that we had different, that looked a little different on my voyage. So I liked our cast. I haven't watched a bunch to know whether I would have preferred another version, but I was good with ours.
So I'm going to switch my internet connection real quick, Kyle. So take care of things till
I will vamp. But yeah, I guess so. The whole point of the story was that this Sammy is leaving the Star Cruiser. He shared a TikTok, and I guess that's what you do now is announce that you're quitting things on TikTok and making life decisions. And he said, something that kind of surprised me about it is I've kind of assumed that they must have like an earpiece or something to kind of lead things in certain directions and then also keep track of all of the people that they're talking to, because they do a pretty good job of like remembering your name if you introduce yourself and stuff like that. But he says that that's all just up in their cabeza. So that's even more impressive. Everyone that goes on a Star Cruiser talks about how the cast makes the biggest difference to that experience. And so knowing that they're not even getting that extra assistance from like an earpiece, I thought was pretty fascinating.
So we are going to share that TikTok. He actually also made an Instagram, so I'm going to share the Instagram version of it. But here you go. Let's give a look, because I found this really interesting this morning. So let's go ahead and give a listen to Sage Starkey as he talks about leaving the Galactic Star Cruiser. And Ashley actually posted, yes. I love that. Don't get that on TikTok.
For those of you that don't know, I play a couple different roles at Disney's Galactic Star Cruiser immersive experience. I was even lucky enough to help create and develop the role of Sammy the Mechanic. For a myriad of reasons, I have decided to leave the Galactic Star Cruiser, but I wanted to take a moment just to talk about the good and the bad. This by far has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire career, both physically and mentally. It is truly a 48-hour show, both on stage and off stage. Even when we go to sleep at night, we are thinking and remembering the experiences of the day before so we can customize your second day on board. That's what we were trained to do. No one is giving us your names through little earpieces. That is all the actors doing. But we carry that burden knowing that you and your family paid $6,000 to stay here for 2 days. So we're going to try and give you the best Star Wars experience that we can, because at the end of the day, we're the ones on the front lines. Now, should we carry that responsibility? Probably not. But because we helped build that place, it became our literal child. It's a lot. However, there were so many good and real things that came out of that place. The connections that we build with the guests, because we are actively spending 2 days with them, are very real. Sure, we may play a character and act a little bit differently, but the experiences, the investment, the conversations, the support is all very real. But more than anything, the most real thing on that ship is the Halcyon crew and the family we made. We built the show in the middle of a pandemic, and we helped create something that had literally never been done before. Halcyon crew, you are my chosen family, together as one. My Halcyon crew, you are why the ship is so special. You continue to go above and beyond when no one asks you to. You are the true success of the ship. No matter what happens, no one can take that away from you, and I dare them to try. With all of this being said, if the Resistance or the First Order should ask in case of an emergency, I'll always do my best to answer the call. But and don't worry, I've always got things coming up, so I'll be plenty busy. But until then, to my fellow actors, to the passengers, to passenger services, to our tech team, to costuming and cosmetology, to the characters and their captains, to the creative team, management, and the Imagineers, I'll leave you with this. For the Order, ignite the spark. Focus on the things that you can trust instead of the things you can't. And may the stars always light your way. Thank you. To Buite. I am leaving.
There is Sage Starkey, aka Sammy, and I wish every cast member that left the company left a video like that. Or I don't know if he left the company, but
I don't. But that's okay.
I mean, first of all, it was 100% positive. It's like, I'm going to give you the good and the bad, and then it's all good. Which
I don't know. I don't know if it's 100% good, but no, I don't know. I guess I'm just cynical, and I'm like, that's a little self-indulgent, but that's just me. That's my problem, not his problem.
Yeah. So I've got a new Ethernet converter thingy on the way. Going to arrive today. Hopefully, that solves my problems. In itself, It is self-indulgent. I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I have no problem with self-indulgence. So I got something interesting to say, and I found it pretty interesting. And frankly, enlightening. I mean, the fact that, as you mentioned, that they have no notes, they have no earpiece in their ear. It is their job, or at least they've made it their job, to pay attention to what everyone's saying, learn it, and internalize it, go home and memorize it, and come back the next day and bring it back out. And they, from what I've seen, and I used to watch a ton of videos of these, they do an incredible job of doing that. So thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Sage.
And I will say, Sammy has one of the more, I guess not difficult per se, but their storyline is kind of has ups and downs to it. So I could see that being a more challenging role with the way that people are going to react to you throughout the course of the week or the 2 days.
That is a great point. Yes. And he is, I have not done Galactic Star Cruiser. All I have to go by is the numerous videos I've watched. When I watch these videos, the two most memorable characters to me are always Sammy and so memorable, I don't know her name, but the one who is in the climate simulator doing all the rock movements and all that stuff. Those are the two characters that always stick out to me. So doing his job well. Luke, thank you very much. He says of this dual racing coaster that it's not IP attached, from what I understand, some sort of a general space theme to tie in with the hub area. So according to Universal, not all major attractions have to be attached to IP. I'm not sure word has reached Disney on that. Jeannie says, you are aware he has been on All Ears since Molly left. I am not aware of that. So yeah, Molly left All Ears. She's probably perhaps the most famous of the, not necessarily the vlogger, but the ones attached to websites, was Molly at All Ears, and she left to form her own company. I think it was called Mammoth. And I guess Sage is now a part of All Ears. I was not aware of that. So if you're a big fan of him, go check him out there. Thanks so much, Jeannie. We got some breaking news.
Okay.
Have you seen this yet, Kyle?
Probably not. Let's see.
Hollywood Reporter, James Cameron says Avatar 2 is profitable and he'll make the sequels, and the subhead is even better.
He already made the sequel.
Sequels, more. The sequels to Avatar 2.
No, but I'm saying the 3 is shot. So good job.
Well, when it comes to, I mean, I don't know how far he's gotten, but when it comes to Avatar, being shot and being done are probably $200 million apart, because there's a whole lot of post-production that happens there. He says that The Way of Water will easily pass the break-even point at the box office now, and he can't wiggle out of making more sequels. That's his quote. Can't wiggle out of making more sequels. So maybe that headline alone will push Disney over 100.
Sure.
It is over $1.5 billion at the global box. Yeah. He's already crossed $1.5 billion at the global box office, so he's passed Top Gun Maverick to become the highest grossing film released in 2022 globally, not in the US, but globally. So congratulations to Avatar Way of Water. And
is he factoring in marketing costs?
I don't know how he determines profit. I mean, I presume he's his own production company. So
I mean, at least he just said it himself instead of having Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, whoever it was, wrote a whole article about how Black Adam was still going to be profitable, like so that The Rock could tweet that out. It's like, that's a little transparent.
But I mean, presumably, Avatar, James Cameron has his own production company. So when he says it's profitable, is he speaking of his production company as opposed to Disney? I don't know. But I'm just excited that he seems to be committing to making more Avatars, because I was shocked at how good Avatar 2 was. I did not expect it to be the spectacle that it was and to impress me as much as it did. So now, if he doesn't wait another 15 years, if we get one in just a few years, I'll be excited, even more excited for Avatar 3, Way of Dirt, and Avatar 4, Take Flight, or whatever they end up doing with these. So can't wait. What else we got going on here today? We did the theme park awards. We got some new artwork. Have you seen the new Figment stuff? Yesterday we talked about the Figment popcorn bucket that is returning with a new lanyard, as Kyle astutely recognized. And for Figment fans, what else is coming, Kyle?
So this is from one of the Disney artists, Jared Murayama. I'm gonna go with that. And he shared this, and this will be available at the Festival of the Arts. And it's very much in the style you've probably seen. I don't know the artist well enough to know their pronouns, so I'm just gonna say the artist. You've probably seen the style before. They've done a bunch of different stuff around the parks.
And yeah, this is it's got like, so it's got Figment in like all his different costumes. He's a knight. Oh, it even has his Christmas sweater down here, and he's a snowman. This is really adorable.
And the skunk, of course.
Yes. So this is the artwork. Do we know how it's actually going to appear? I'm guessing we don't.
Well, usually they have I've never actually been to Festival of the Arts, but yeah, I think they usually have like tents or booths or whatever somewhere in the parks, and they sell stuff and sign stuff. That's my understanding, at least.
Yeah, no, they definitely do. It just, this seems to me to be the actual artwork. So what merchandise will it actually appear on? You know, is it just a print, or
prints and stuff, right?
Mugs of it? Sometimes they do even more merchandise with it. So we'll find out. Festival of the Arts starts. He'll be there February 10th through 14th. So need some art to go with that popcorn bucket. Yeah, so this will be artwork. One of 4 new pieces I'll have at Epcot International Festival of the Arts. I'll be there February 10th through 14th. Art will be available for the run of the show, pending stock on hand. Find me and the art in the Odyssey building. Artful Epcot, Figment, Disney. So.
Odyssey.
Kyle, the man with the song for everything. That's like, you have many talents, Kyle, but that may be the most impressive of all.
Thank you.
And spelling.
And he froze right after complimenting me. It figures. I don't know what we're going to next, but I'm sure we're going to.
I'm back now.
Okay.
Right. So this day, 2015, any guess as to what television show premiered on this day in 2015?
I have a guess because I read the document that you sent me.
This is what you get for doing prep, Kyle. Never do prep.
Well, yeah.
Agent
Carter. Yeah.
Yeah. So of the two of us, you're our Marvel guy. Were you a fan of this show?
I've actually never watched it. This is part of the Loboverse. It's MCU adjacent. I know it's a fan favorite, but I've never watched this and never watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I know that you're a fan of. So
I was a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I was even a bigger fan of Agent Carter. I love.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do, and it's cool to see her back in like Multiverse of Madness and What If you're counting that. But yeah, now I got around to just watching the show. I believe it's on Disney Plus, so I could totally go watch it.
I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus. And
did it go for one season or 2? I don't even remember.
I think it went for 2.
Okay.
Mainly because I saw another YouTube that was Agent Carter season 2 preview.
Fair enough.
So that now, if you are a fan, give me 1 second. Shoot. I'm talking just with it. Give me 1 second. But if you are a fan of Haley Atwell, may I strongly recommend you check out Black Mirror. This episode, which the name escapes me right now and it's driving me crazy. Are you a Black Mirror fan, Kyle?
No, but I need to make you watch an episode of Community that did something that Black Mirror did after them.
Okay, please do. So it's an episode where her husband dies tragically. There she is, and there is a way of getting him back, and I will leave it at that. And my second, maybe my third favorite Black Mirror episode, and I love almost every single Black Mirror. So go check that out, and it's driving me crazy. I can't remember the name of it.
When you say get him back, all I can think of is Lorena Bobbitt. So I'm going to assume it's not that.
So not get revenge, but actually get him back into her life. You're a horrible person, guys. And it is called Be Right Back. The episode's called Be Right Back. I think third or fourth favorite Black Mirror. They're all so good. Oh my goodness, Black Mirrors are so good. You don't watch it at all?
No.
They're not scary.
Did you like the Choose Your Own Adventure thing?
I've never watched that one. I don't watch TV to interact. I watch TV to watch. So it's like a principal thing for me.
Okay.
Even though I can watch it without interacting if I choose to. But yeah. So that was 2015. Agent Carter premiered. This Day in 2012, conversely, was not the first, but the final episode of a favorite of Potts Kids. The
Wizards
final
of
episode of Wizard of Waverly Place, which did not buffer.
I've never watched this show, but my friend was on it. He played Hugh Normus in a few episodes and gets recognized for that pretty decently when we go to Disneyland together. At least a couple of people will say something to him. So
that is cool. That's really cool. So the final episode was in 2012. It was called "Who Will Be the Family Wizard?"
And yes, you can watch that on Disney Plus as well, presumably.
And she is now in
Only Murders in the Building.
Only murder, like all the murders, every murder's in her only.
All the murders in the building.
And she is the one that did not have major issues and came through that just fine, and is now a major star on it. And also this day in history, Block Party Bash, which was a fantastic parade at Disney's California Adventure, had its final performance in 2008. I don't know if you remember this. If you ever, of course, you had a chance to see this. You were living in the area then. Do you remember Block Party Bash?
I do. And so this is its final performance at DCA before going to studios, Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. And this is just a video of it. But yeah, this day in history is its final performance at DCA, and then it did move on to MGM Studios back then, which relates to our next This Day in Disney history. But
okay, didn't know that it was MGM when Block Party Bash was there.
I don't know when Block Party Bash started, so
okay,
don't hold me to that. I could be wrong, but I do remember this show.
Why don't they sell the Zurg shirt? Come on now, I want that.
What I really remember about this show, I was there at the media event the first time this show performed. Love those things. They were in Eureka. Those things are so cool. One of the cones caught on fire. And that was one of these giant cones. That was a big deal at the time.
You can tell this was filmed in 2005.
Wow, why are you picking on Share a Dream Come True? So this YouTube channel, Share a Dream Come True, has so many retro videos. It's actually by a friend of mine, so we're actually very happy he lets us use his videos on LPTV. So we have this playing on LPTV today as a part of This Day in History. So if you want to see the entire Block Party Bash, you can go do that. Those things are so cool. I feel like I could, what do they say? My toxic trait is I feel like I could put those on and do this just as well as him the first time I try. I learned how to be so hip just being on TikTok every day.
Not having a 13-year-old son, just being on TikTok.
No, he's nowhere near TikTok. He doesn't use that junk. No, it comes from being on TikTok. When he uses phrases that I don't understand, I say, "Don't say that." Like, no, we don't use that in this house. That's not allowed. And he gets mad. On this day in 2008, that was the last day that this park was known as Disney MGM Studios. The very next day, it was Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Wow.
A logo for Disney MGM Studios seems to be decorated for a film. I'm guessing 101 Dalmatians. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, definitely 101 Dalmatians. Probably.
I thought it was April 2 Bust a Moo with it. I thought it was a cow design.
Yeah, or a little Chick-fil-A cross promotion.
Yes.
But no, it was for 101 Dalmatians, and this would have been the live action version with Glenn Close. And in case, lest you forget what MGM Studios was back in the day, it was a better time. Mickey wearing his debonair director costume, Roger Rabbit, all over the place. Cool.
Well, speaking of your 13-year-old son, can you pull up that? It seems relevant. I don't know if we've actually shown it. We've talked about it on this show. I don't think we've ever shown it.
That is a good thing. I should be able to find it.
I believe Ricky Briganti posted it back in the day before he sold Inside the Magic.
He did. So let me go to that website and find it there.
But yeah, this is I'll preface it. So Gideon, when he was 6 years old, I believe, went to the shareholder meeting. and stepped up to the microphone to ask Bob Iger a question on his own volition, and got a very unexpected answer that kind of set the Disney World on fire for a few.
It did. It was in San Francisco at the Presidio. We went to it. They did the Q&A. He goes over to me and says, "I want to ask a question." Okay, you're 6. You want to ask a question? You can, but you have to tell us what it is first. And he came up with this question, and we said, "All right, go for it." So this was all him, as Kyle said. Let's take a look. And it wasn't on video, unfortunately, so let's take a listen. But thank you to Inside the Magic for putting this up.
My name is Gideon. I am 6 years old. I am a Disney shareholder, and is the name of Disney's Hollywood Studios can be renamed?
I didn't understand the second part. Is the what, Gideon?
The name of Disney's Hollywood Studios can be changed.
The name of Disney Hollywood Studios
Yeah.
being changed. No, it is being changed? Not announced. We used to be MGM Studios. We changed it to Hollywood Studios. And we're doing some significant work there right now that I guess will result in a name change. But now we can announce that. It's not been announced, right? No. We'll announce that we're changing the name, but we won't announce what we're changing it to. How's that? And we're not changing it to Rogue One.
They also
Thank you,
announced the name of the Star Wars spinoff, Rogue One, that meeting as well. It's so funny. I love hearing. My favorite part is the little Gideon laugh when everyone else is like, "Yeah."
Oh my goodness. So we do Disney Trivia Live twice a week, and everyone keeps commenting on how deep his voice is on the voiceovers that he does. And then I hear that, and I'm like, oh. It's painful being a parent. It's painful being a parent. But that, my son getting up there, wanting to get up there, and then getting up there in front of all those people, asking his question, and then even repeating it when Iger says, "Excuse me," it's one thing to memorize it all and get up there and say it, but then to act in the moment, that was a problem for me. And they still have not changed the name. So, breaking news, Iger lies to 6-year-old children. And maybe that's why Stags is no longer there. Let's see. Let me check the tweet deck, see if anything has come up.
In the meantime, we skipped one of our segments that I prepared for.
Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. Kyle, please. Do you want the empty map for that one?
I don't need. Well, you can bring it up real fast. The good news across the country is not only no severe storms, no thunderstorms. It doesn't mean there's not going to be rain, but not even thunderstorms. So now we'll make our way across. Let me give you the rundown for each of the parks. Starting in Anaheim, the rain has cleared. We talked yesterday how there was going to be some rain. Temperatures will be warming to low 60s throughout the day, but they will retreat back towards 50 starting around dinner time. So bring a hoodie there if you're heading to Disneyland. In Orlando, it is a beautiful, sunny and clear day. They're in the low 60s about now. Lower 60s, probably a little bit higher right now, and they're going to climb up. They're not going to break 70 degrees, so it's not a doobie day at Walt Disney World. But over at Castaway Cay, it is partly cloudy with highs in the upper 70s. Moving over to Paris, they are currently holding firm in the lower 50s, and they'll stay in that range for the rest of the night as they're wrapping up there for the day about this time. Heading over to Tokyo, this is where we start talking about what it's going to look like tomorrow, because today is pretty much already over. Tokyo is going to be partly cloudy. It's going to be a bit brisk in the morning, in the upper 30s, but it'll get to near 50 degrees by the afternoon. Shanghai is going to be sunny with a near zero chance of rain the entire day. There's a light breeze in the early afternoon, but they'll start around 50 degrees and get up to near 60 by lunch, and then make its way back down in the evening. And finally, good old Hong Kong. They'll be in the low to mid 60s tomorrow. There might be a few showers in the very early morning, and then those showers will return in the evening. But in between, a nice park day.
Can't believe I forgot. So the plan is stock price weather. I got thrown off because I went to the shareholders meeting. Don't let it go this long, Kyle. You stop me. You say it's weather report time. Kyle knows weather. Thank you very much. I look forward to that so I can know what theme park is safe for me to go to today. I think I'll stay home. It's a little
You
cold.
have to go to Castaway.
That's fascinating. Yeah. All right. So I think that's it today. Fascinating to me, not to you. So I don't know. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yesterday I accidentally skipped one, so I don't want to do that again today. Next week is National Pizza Week. So I think maybe each day we will feature a particular pizza of Disney. We actually did a pizza article a few years ago, so I can resurrect that. Pizza is my favorite food of all time. I like my pizzas thick, and I can talk about each day we can feature one of our favorite pizzas somewhere in the realm of Disney. Do you have a Disney pizza you like, Kyle? Are you a Disney pizza fan?
A Disney pizza that I like. Interesting. I can't. I mean, nothing really comes to mind. I have a friend who swears by the Naples pizza or the whatever they had next to Naples. Yeah, Disney pizza. I can't really. I also know people really like the one at was it Via Napoli.
Oh, Naples. You meant a downtown Disney. Yes,
I meant downtown Disney. Now I'm talking about the one at Epcot. I'm just going to assume that that's correct until he corrects me. I can't think of really.
Via Napoli at Epcot. A lot of people do swear by that. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I like New York pizza the best. So I can't think of any like really good New York pizza at Disney. No, not thick.
Or Chicago. We will fight someday. So that's next week. Obviously, good luck to all the runners out there, half marathoners, full marathoners, everyone. Get some personal best, be safe out there, enjoy the characters, may the weather smile upon you. And we'll be back on Monday as we kick off another week, National Pizza Week. And of course, any breaking news, I think there's a good chance we're going to be on later today with some news on something. But
Speaker of the House?
Yeah, if we can
Speaker of the House or Tron, which is happening first.
If we can get the Speaker of the House, whoever that is, to talk Disney with us, we'll do that. But otherwise, we might have something else we're talking about this afternoon.
Bob Iger regrets taking the Disney job. Maybe he could have been Speaker.
Did
you know that you don't have to be a member of the House to be Speaker? So, like,
I knew that
don't have a job.
Because there were a lot of people who wanted Trump to become Speaker when he's not in the House. So yes, I did know
got
that.
one vote, but I know someone. I don't know them personally, but I know that there's one person who's trying to make a case. It's not going to happen to be Speaker, and they're no longer a member of Congress. So that'd be interesting. It won't happen. It's just going to be someone boring. Don't get too excited. Dewey's just staring at me. I think it's because he's frozen, but he also just might be judging me for talking politics on his show.
I don't know. So we're going to get out of here before my connection just decides to give up completely. And I'm going to pull my hair out and then be back Monday with a new piece of hardware that hopefully will improve things. Thanks for joining us, Kyle. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend out there. Exactly 1 hour. We know what we're doing.